Jake Paul is fighting Mike Perry. This is going down July 20th in replacement of Mike Tyson. So let's take a look at what is going down here. We have Ariel Helwani saying Jake Paul x Mike Perry is a done deal. Cruiserweight boxing match as a 200-pound limit is set for July 20th in Tampa, Florida. 8 rounds on DAZN pay-per-view. Here's the poster, Jake Paul versus Mike Perry, July 20th. It says, fear no man. It's kind of a pretty big risk for both guys. I mean, if Jake Paul loses here, that could potentially put the Mike Tyson fight in jeopardy, which is a lot of risk here for Jake, but also a lot of reward. Meanwhile, Mike Perry is like the face of bare knuckle fighting. So if he gets knocked out by Jake Paul, that's going to be pretty bad for his brand as well. Jake Paul said, when Paul versus Tyson was rescheduled, I knew immediately that I wanted to still fight on July 20th. Now as I prepare for my fight against Iron Mike, there's no better opponent for me than Mike Perry. He's a proven knockout artist who is shown to be a maniac in and out of the ring. This is the perfect experience for me to gain in advance of facing Mike Tyson. But getting that experience comes with risk. Those who know me know I'm a risk taker, and while Platinum Perry might try to end me, I'm Titanium Jake Paul and I fear no man. I'm gonna get the W and give everyone a preview of what I'm bringing to the ring against Mike Tyson. Tune in, blah, 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 whole lot of yap. And then Mike Perry said, Jake Paul claims he fears no man, but on Saturday, July 20th, the world will see the truth. He just made the worst mistake of his life in trying to get through me before Iron Mike. I'm going to make it look easy on July 20th, and I'm going to teach Jake Paul the most he's ever learned about fighting. Now here are their pro boxing records. Mike Perry 0-1 in the boxing ring, but that doesn't really tell the whole story. His only fight was in 2015 against Kenneth McNeil. And this is the only footage I can find on this fight. He just gets hit with that overhand right, falls to the floor, and I guess he doesn't get up from that shot. He doesn't look too badly rocked. You don't even get to see the full clip. It just cuts off right here. But while the pro record may not be as decorated, this is where it's at. The bare knuckle record for Mike Perry, 6-0. And he got some wins on here. The Nigerian king of bare knuckle. He's been putting in that work. Michael Venom Page, Luke Rockhold, Eddie Alvarez, Thiago Alves, 3 knockouts in a row in his last 3 fights. He's been on a streak. He's been on a roll. And then about Jake's record, he's 9-1 as a pro boxer. This is going to be under pro boxing rules, so Jake's obviously not going to be stepping into the bare knuckle ring. So as you can see in the last couple of years, he's been racking up these fights. He lost to Tommy Fury. He beat Anderson Silva, Tyron Woodley, Ben Askren, Nate Diaz. Most recently, 2 pro boxers, Andre August, Ryan Borland. Now he has his upcoming fight against Mike Perry and then Mike Tyson after that in November. Mike's a natural 175 pounder. He's recently fought at 185, and now he's going to be moving up to 200 pounds to fight Jake Paul, who that's kind of been his weight class over the last couple of years. 200 in his last 2 fights. Let's take a look at some of these Mike Perry clips in bare knuckle. You got a highlight reel of his bare knuckle run so far. The man is an absolute maniac. And he's always been this way. He's always been like this tough, crazy man, but he just found his calling in bare knuckle, beating all sorts of guys. Look at him in all these videos. He's bloodied up, going bare fist. Takes a special kind of person to want to do this and to be going on a run like he has been. Like, look at this against Luke Rockhold, a former world champion in the UFC at middleweight. This is how his last bare knuckle fight turned out. It was a couple months ago. Drops Thiago Alves to the ground, and the fight just gets stopped. So Mike Perry just been on this crazy run, and especially recently, his aura has just been increasing. Interestingly enough, Mike Perry took on Michael Seals, a 27-3 pro boxer, and this was in triad combats. It's kind of like a mix of boxing and MMA. It's MMA gloves with boxing rules, I'm pretty sure, with a little bit more scrappy, I think, bare knuckle kind of style, clinch work and stuff like that. They're in like a triangular ring, which looks super weird. But even in this, Mike Perry won a decision. You could just see that forward pressure of Mike Perry to always come forward, always dog it out. That's going to be his #1 attribute. His toughness, his durability, his pressure. Mike is always game. You can see he's using that clinch work. That's something that he can do against Jake Paul. The inside fighting, in the clinch, make it a dog fight, make it rough, make it scrappy. That's where he's going to see the most success. But don't get me wrong, he's got skills as well. Like, he's able to hang in with this guy. Not bad at all. Look at him. And so Mike wins the decision. And here's Luke Rockhold versus Mike Perry. Mike kind of struggled a little bit with that range of Luke Rockhold, who's so big, especially compared to Mike. But eventually, Mike Perry just found his timing, and I'm pretty sure knocked out Luke Rockhold's teeth, which is insane. Here it is, already in the second round, just pouring the pressure on Luke Rockhold in bare knuckle, just coming forward like a dog, hunting him, and I think here's where, yeah, Rockhold kind of quits because his teeth got knocked out. And there it is. And look at Mike's reaction every time. The guy's a character. Here's Jake Paul's last fight against Ryan Borland. You can see that jab from Jake. He's been developing a little bit. That's what Jake's got to do. He's got to stay on the outside against Mike. He's got to keep it technical, keep it a boxing match. Don't get into that firefight in the pocket because that's where Mike Perry is going to have the most strengths. Good combination there from Jake. Just boxing on the outside. And there's that right hand. Just stumbles Ryan, and then Jake just comes in like crazy. Now, Mike Perry is not going to be the same kind of opponent as Ryan Borland, I can tell you that much. He's not going to go out as easy as him. But you can see Jake with these combinations, that body work. Gets tagged a little bit there. It ain't pretty, but Jake's getting the job done. Just the onslaught, the pressure, the combinations. He's just going to finish this in the first round. And that's Jake Paul's last fight. Now here was Jake Paul's last fight against an MMA fighter. He was pouring it on Nate Diaz in that first round especially. But he knew that Nate Diaz at any time could start pouring the pressure on because of that cardio. But this one went the distance. You can see a little bit more from Jake Paul out of this fight because you could actually see him in a competitive, or at least more competitive matchup. Here's that check left hook that sets Nate Diaz to the ground. Just times him with that clean shot. Nate gets up, Jake. Okay, I got an ad. Nate gets up, Jake tries to finish it, but Nate is just so durable. And this could be a very similar story with Mike Perry because he's very durable, tough as well, and it's going to be hard to put him out of there. Now here on the inside is where Nate Diaz actually has some moments against Jake Paul. When he roughs him up, those uppercuts, those hooks in the clinch on the inside, you can see Nate Diaz like taunting. He always does that, but just gets on the inside when Jake Paul's a little bit more gassed. This one was a 10-rounder. The Mike Perry fight's only 8 rounds. But you can see Jake Paul a little bit more on his bike. I mean, Jake still held his own. It's not like he was getting beat up by Nate, but just to see that Nate was able to do this in the clinch, Mike Perry could be able to do that tenfold. The thing is, I don't think Jake really respected Nate Diaz's power as much as he will Mike Perry's. So he kind of just stood in the pocket and ate some shots and just had his head wobble, but didn't really do too much. See, look at this. Nate Diaz just making it rough against Jake Paul in this last round, the 10th round. Pure boxing-wise, when it comes to who could throw a better jab, who could throw a better cross, I'd say Jake Paul definitely edges it, but you never know. Those X factors of Mike Perry, being that dog, being able to come forward, putting pressure on him, potentially bringing Jake Paul to the waters he's never seen before. Nice uppercut from Jake, and Nate just comes forward like a zombie, puts him in that ghillie, and Jake gets the decision over Nate Diaz. And Jake Paul just put out a video saying, "I'm fighting Mike Perry," talking about this fight, so let's see what he got to say.
Yeah, the news is true, folks. I, Jake Paul, will be fighting Mike Perry, Tampa, Florida, July 20th. Let's cut to the chase and get into the nitty-gritty. Why Mike Perry? Why now? Why not just wait? What about Mike Tyson? Yes, I am still fighting Mike Tyson November 15th. However, Mike Tyson...
It's weird that that fight is still like already scheduled because, I mean, if he loses to Mike Perry, that stock in general is just gonna be tough to sell. Like a Mike Tyson fight after losing to Mike Perry would be tough.
Is one of the baddest men on this planet. He has way more experience than me. He's a killer. And so why not gain more experience against another notorious known killer? Mike Perry, the bare knuckle legend, the man that can't be knocked out, the vicious,
it's a big risk
brawler. This guy is a fucking lunatic. He's undefeated in bare knuckle, which is probably the craziest sport in the world. And not to mention, this fight has been brewing for years. Mike Perry has been talking shit to me non-stop, and I do think this guy is funny. I like his shit talk, and I think this fight is gonna have some amazing press conference moments and really
it's gonna have a good build though.
Comes from it. But
I've already seen. Here it is. Look at him. This is him the day the fight gets announced. Who knows what this guy is up to?
I'm literally potentially sacrificing the biggest moment of my career, the biggest payday of my career, if I lose to Mike Perry. But for some reason, these are the positions that I like to put myself in and that I feel like I have to put myself in to get better inside the ring under the lights. And I want to show the world that I can.
I respect taking this fight because there's been a lot of build up for this fight. There's been a lot of years of back and forth. People saying that Jake Paul doesn't want to fight Mike Perry. Mike Perry's just been on this tear. So for Jake Paul to take this is kind of like a tune-up fight for Mike Tyson. and just a stay busy fight, you got to respect, because it's kind of a big risk as well.
Go in there against this guy who everyone already thinks is gonna win and prove everyone wrong once again and get that W. Bare knuckle legend, but he will be turned into a bear.
That was good, bro.
A bear chuckle. I'm gonna turn this. If I do
Bro.
the Celsius, it'll come to me. Right back at the Amalie Arena where I knocked out Tyron Woodley. So it's my lucky stadium. My official prediction for the fight.
The same
3 rounds
stadium
or
as
less.
the Woodley
Calling
fight.
it now. These guys can't hang with me. Nobody's really
3
been
rounds
able
or
to
less.
see my skill for
It's
the
Jake's
past
prediction.
year. I've had new coaches. Development has gone amazing. And I'm excited to put on a performance July 20th.
It's true, we haven't seen him pretty much since the Nate Diaz fight in an actual, like, real competitive fight. But 3 rounds or less is going to be tough, because Mike Perry's a dog. I think it's probably going to go the distance.
Roll the trailer.
Jake Paul, Mike Perry, the fight is on.
This fight is massive.
trailer.
It's a massive risk. It is a gamble. Mike's dangerous.
This fight's been building for years. He's been shit-talking me, begging me for the fight.
Jake Paul, man.
I'm here, buddy.
Jake, you don't want this.
What if Mike Perry knocks out Jake Paul?
If that Mike Tyson fight don't happen, I know that.
July 20th, Mike's getting put to sleep.
Mike Perry's a brawler, man.
I'm gonna bring it to him.
Jake Paul's made a massive mistake.
Mike Perry can flatline. Absolutely.
I'm the real problem. You don't want it?
I am Mike Perry's father.
Mike Perry is going to destroy
That line
Jake Paul.
does not fit in
Mike
this
Perry
trailer.
beats Jake Paul the fuck up.
There it is. Jake Paul versus Mike Perry, July 20th, and I got an added again. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Who you got? Jake Paul, Mike Perry. Thank you guys so much for watching.